Good morning. This is for those of you that have missed waking up with yoga. This is me waking up, needing to stretch my body, and I invite you to join me. So find whatever's a comfortable seated posture. You can be sitting on the floor, you can be sitting on a chair, whatever works for you. We're just going to take a few breaths because we've been waking up from sleep, and we want to take some breaths in through our nose and exhaling fully out through the mouth just to let go of any last little bits of breath still in our lungs from when we were sleeping last night. Fresh breath in and out. One more. So take a moment just to ground and to find yourself here in this moment, enjoying that there is nothing else that you need to be doing right now in this moment except for being present, awakening to what the body's feeling like, the mind, the breath, they're all connected, and just allowing for whatever shows up to be there and just to give that space. It might take your mind a couple of breaths, or maybe the whole practice, to begin to realize that we can be right here in this moment. We don't have to be planning ahead or worrying about something that's happened in the past. We can allow ourselves to be fully here, just give ourselves the gift for the next few minutes as we wake up, to allow ourselves to just be in this moment where we can be replenished. So we're going to go ahead and just start right on our hands and knees, because I woke up this morning needing some opening between my shoulder blades. Didn't really do anything interesting yesterday to explain for it, but that's what I have, and I will greet it. So we'll move right into cat-cow. So we'll put hands underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips, and you know how to do it. Take a breath in. We're going to release the belly towards the earth, looking up. Woo! And then exhale, we're going to round the back. So we tuck the tailbone, the rest of the back follows as we come into that cat stretch. We press into the earth, we release the head fully. And then we just let our breath be our guide. We're just going to move back and forth, seeing if we can greet those sensations, which are pretty interesting in my upper back today. And you might want to move around a little. So as you come up into cat, that might be a good place to explore. For me, that's where I can get into that area between the shoulder blades. For you, maybe it's your lower back. You might need to wag your tail a little or move your hips. And it might shift from breath to breath. So one cat pose, you might feel it one place, and then in the next breath, you feel it another. Stay present. And then the next two breaths, connect with what's touching the earth. So we're going to spread all 10 fingers. Feel that we're firmly planted. See if we can feel the tops of the feet on the floor as well. One more. You get to hear all my summer sounds here, practicing out on my deck. Okay, from here, just press back into an easy child's pose. See if we can take some time to lengthen out the spine. If you've been sleeping, you might have been curled up, so let's lengthen out the spine. Release down. If the floor's too far away, you can make a pillow with your forearms, or you can just stay upright and still lengthen out the back. Take whatever version you need. And take full breaths into the back body. See if you can fill it up with breath. Taking a few deeper, full breaths. And then we'll bring hands underneath the shoulders to help us rise again. Come back into tabletop position. We'll inhale, come in through cow again. On the exhale, we're going to round and just bring yourselves back. Maybe your bottom is going to come back towards your heels, maybe not. We're just getting a little movement here. And then on the inhale, we come forward. Exhale, we round. Stretch back. One more, inhale. And rounding. Awesome. So from here, we're going for it. We're going to bring our hands a few inches in front of our shoulders. We're going to tuck our toes. And just take a couple breaths into your downward dog. So we're just playing, just waking up the body here. Going to be real sweet. For me, I like to walk my feet in place like I'm slowly walking on the mat, just to warm up the backs of my legs. It might be that I need to kind of play a little bit with my shoulders. I need to firmly press into the earth. Checking out my neck to make sure that it's not holding. And release, we're going to come down. I think I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze correctly. Into my elbow. That is the way to sneeze during a pandemic. Okay, it's allergies outside. So from here, we're going to move and try to waken this area between the shoulder blades. For me, that's where I need some relief. So I'm going to sit on my heels. If that doesn't work for you, you can sit cross-legged. We're going to come into eagle arms. So the left arm is going to cross over right. We're going to bring the backs of the hands together, stay there, or maybe the palms come. We're going to lift the fingertips up. So we're going to let this bring a little opening to the upper back. We're going to keep our belly engaged. And then we're going to let the elbows come towards the chest, and we're rounding just the upper back. So getting into that area where we hold lots of tension between our shoulder blades. Full breath there. Relax the shoulders. Check in with the neck. This is where it feels nice for my body to explore. For others, you might want to come down a little different. Maybe there's a part of the lower back that needs attention, or maybe you want to come all the way to the floor. Right now, in this moment, this feels right for my body, so I'll stay here. 2 more breaths. Keep relaxing your shoulders down away from your ears. And then on the next inhale, we'll lift up. Let the arms open up towards the sky. Joyful. We're going to bring the hands behind us. So as the hands come behind us, again, just see if this is okay on your ankles. If not, modify. We're going to press into the earth, and we're going to bend one elbow at a time. So first I'm going to bend the right elbow, just opening up across the front of the chest. And then I'm going to bend the left. And then I'm going to bend both of them just a little bit as I lift my chest up. And then maybe I can straighten them a little bit more. You can release the head all the way back, or tuck your chin towards your chest. Open it up fully across the front of the chest. That's going to help release the upper back. And we're going to walk forward. So just take your hands and let yourself walk back up. From here, we're going to let our feet counter. So we're going to tuck our toes. We're going to bring our weight back towards our heels. And you decide how much your feet want to counter stretch with the soles of the feet. So you can stay here. This is a nice place. If you want to come down further, you can do that. You can almost come down in a modified child's pose. What we're looking for is just some extra attention to the soles of the feet. Just letting them open a bit. See if we can soften. Because we're going to go back into the posture where the tops of the feet are back onto the floor. So give them a minute. We're going to tuck the soles of the feet back. Excuse me, not the soles, tops of the feet. We're going to sit back again. If this doesn't work, again, you can take it in cross-legged, no biggie. We're going to cross the right arm over the left, coming into eagle arms. Lift the arms up. Drop the shoulders down. Relax the jaw. And then explore, where is it that this posture can help you find more opening in the back? I'm going to bring my elbows towards my chest and round into the upper back to explore that first. Yes, that's where I need to take a breath or two. Full breaths. Maybe you want to explore another part of the back. Keep your belly engaged. Find a place you can breathe in for 2 more breaths. Explore. And inhale joyfully, arms up. Woo! Last time, hands behind us. We're going to open up the chest again. You can press if it's too much into your feet. Maybe think about bringing the attention into the knees a little bit so that you're really engaging and stretching open the quads. We're going to lift up our bottoms off our feet this time and just let our body be a nice long stretch, long line here. Spread all 10 fingers. You got it. Slowly come forward again. We're moving into downward dog. Knees under the hips, hands a little bit in front of the shoulders. Just a baby cow. Tuck the toes, up we go. So explore. Maybe it feels a little different now between the shoulder blades, the upper back. Maybe there's another part of the back that was able to just release a little bit. That's all we're asking. Don't have to let go all the way. And then we're going to float down. We're going to move into thread the needle. Again, attention into the upper back, which will help open the front of the chest. We're going to take it 2 times. First time, I'm going to lift the left arm up towards the sky. And as I come through, we're going to come onto the back of the left forearm. I'm going to take my right arm and I'm going to open up. So even if you always go right into thread the needle, just try this for a moment. What I want you to think about is the distance between the right hip, which is pulling back, that direction, and the right shoulder. So lots of space in this side of the body. I'm opening up. I'm finding that my neck is still in line with the rest of the vertebrae in the spine. I'm not dropping my head. Take a breath there so that you can feel it opening up the area that's being twisted. And release. We're going to come back. Easy cow-cat. Side 2, right arm comes up. We're going to come again just to the back of the forearm. We're going to keep the hips level. We're going to pull this left hip back. Lots of space. Press into that left arm to help lift the left shoulder up towards the sky. To come out, you'll lift on up. Just take a breath in neutral here. Feel the effect. So you don't want to rush out of any pose. We want to be mindful of what it feels like moving into the pose, during the pose, and after the pose. So we'll take a breath, integrating that. Now we can come down. If you want to come further, all the way into your thread the needle with your arm on the ground, shoulder on the ground, you're welcome to. Or you can stay in that first version. We'll lift the arm up, left arm up. We're going to come through. Maybe stay in that first posture. Maybe you're going to explore coming down a little bit further. If you do, we're going to pay attention again to this right hip. It's going to pull back towards the back of your mat. We're going to press into the earth, open up the chest, and check in with the head. It should be just as if you were resting, sleeping. So there shouldn't be tension. You shouldn't be pulling the neck in any direction. Full breaths here, opening up the body. If you want to play and you're used to bringing a leg behind you, you would bring the leg, that's the direction that you're opening. So I'm opening to the right with my right hand, so my right leg might go back. I might play with that, pressing into that heel, finding that opening to the side of the body. Or not. My morning practice tends not to be super athletic. We're going to come up, take a breath. Try side 2. This time the right arm's coming up for me. We're going to come through. We're open and twisting to the left. I think my body's ready. Coming down. Woo. I'm going to pull that left hip back. Open up by pressing the left hand and the left shoulder up towards the sky then. Checking in with my head. If you're going to send the leg back, it would be the left leg. Let's connect with the tops of the feet, pressing onto the earth. Let's feel the hips remaining level and breathe fully into the upper back. tension in the neck. And we'll press coming out. Awesome. Ooh, take a breath. Feel the effects of that. From here, little cow, we're going to come into downward dog for just a breath. And then walk the hands back. We're going to hold on to the elbows, let ourselves hang forward. I think you can still see me. Hello. Yes. Bend the knees, let yourself have some rock here. Is anything else holding on that we can invite to let go? And then we'll begin to straighten the legs. Some of us, hands will come to the legs, and that will be where we support. Others will bring the hands down to the ground, or even the sides of the feet. If your hamstrings are very tight or you've injured your lower back, you're going to want to bend your legs and keep some support on the legs so that you're not overstretching the lower back. Take a breath or two here. Play with lifting the toes up and then spreading them wide and shifting the weight a little bit without falling forward. You're going to engage the front of the legs. We're going to take a moment just to say thank you, strong legs. Yep, waking them up. We're going to bend into the earth, press as we lift up. You rise all the way up. If you get dizzy because it's a warm day or you have low blood pressure still, just tuck your chin under. I know you can't see me. Hello. Okay. But you can see most of my body. That's what counts. So we're going to step forward. We're going to warm up a little bit. Just do the front of the hip flexors. We're not going to do a huge amount standing, but we're going to step the left foot forward, right foot back. And we're going to come into a high lunge first. So back toes are tucked under, heels lifted. I'm going to play with finding my balance first. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm going to spread that front foot so I feel stable. And then I'm going to really think about getting my pelvis right underneath me. Okay, I'm feeling steady. Now I get to play with beginning to straighten that back leg some. For me, I have a pretty engaged front of my hip. I have been sitting some, surprise, so I'm trying to open it up. Ooh, yeah, so take it slow. You might open up. If it feels all right, you might want to lift the arms up with it. If it's too much opening, you just bend the leg a little, go back and forth. Yep. So from here, we're going to have a strong step forward. We're going to let our bodies come forward. We're going to bend the back leg. Step. You got it. Now we're going to take the left leg back. Again, we want to find our pelvis underneath us. Get everything equal so we're not tilting any direction. And once we have that, we're feeling solid with the front foot. Back toes tucked under. You need to have them back far enough so that you can begin to straighten that leg. And as I straighten the back leg, if you're feeling like you want to go a little deeper, you can just bend into the front leg. Woo. Really opening up the front of this left hip. Again, we can open the arms if you like. And to come out, we're going to bend forward, tuck the back leg, maybe take a step or two, or just one. And we rise, reach up towards the sky. Feel the strength in your legs pressing down, grounding you. And release. From here, we'll step our feet wide. We're going to turn right toes out. I don't know if I'm mirroring you. I'm not sure how this works with the video, but I'll just tell you what I'm doing. Turn this side out. We're going to come into triangle. So we're going to reach out over this front leg as long as we can. And then we'll come down. Opening up fully in the triangle. We're going to breathe some opening now through not only the right side, but also the left side. So we're lengthening both sides. It's going to feel hamstring stretch here gently, helping to open the hips. Ooh, it's like a big yawn in the morning. You can look up, or if your neck's feeling like it doesn't want to strain, you can look straight ahead. Hello. Or you can look down towards that supporting leg. And then let's stretch the arm in the direction of our front leg, reaching out even further, opening up this area, just letting it breathe open. And we'll rise up and we'll try side two. So we're just going to turn those toes in, whatever your side two is. We're going to turn that leg out. We're going to reach out over this front leg. And remember, there's a little bit of bend here because most of us have the tendency to lock the leg, and that's going to send all the weight right into that knee. So a little bit of bend, which means you're going to engage this thigh, reaching out. That's about as far as I can go. Hand will come down. We'll open up towards the sky. On this side, my head feels all right with looking up, so I'm going to turn my chin towards my chest and then look up. My neck feels okay. Find the place that's right for you. Take a few breaths. You can hear the sweet locust in my yard. It'll be part of your mindful practice, the sound. We're going to reach towards that front leg. Stretch the back hip away, again opening up this area, yeah. And rise, we'll come up. And we'll bring our feet into neutral posture so they are pointed forward. You might feel a little bit of stretch on the outside of the ankles, that's okay. We're going to stretch the arms out. We're going to come down in front of us. We're going to be coming into a twist. So we want to think about where is right underneath our heart. If the floor is too far away for you, you might want to get a pillow or something to press your hands down on. Many of you know that practice with me, I have pretty short legs, so I don't need something like this, but if you need something like a pillow or something to lift you up a little higher, feel free. We're going to bring a hand to the earth. We're going to commit to keeping our hips level. So that's what we're going to look at first. I'm going to bend down so you can see my hips. So I'm going to be cautious that I'm not sending them one direction or another direction as we come into the twist. We'll come down, hands straight underneath my heart. I'm going to take a breath, committing to level hips. See, it wants to go in this direction, so I'm going to pull level. I'm going to lift up this arm again, almost like we were doing in thread the needle before we threaded. So if this bothers your shoulder, it's great. You can bring your hand to the lower back. This is a great spot you can take. What we're thinking about is pulling this left hip back and the left shoulder forward, or whatever direction you're opening. The hip and the shoulder want to move away from each other. Yeah. And as you're coming out, the hand will come down. You can just release to the earth, whatever feels right. You can reach to your outside of the legs and pull yourself down if you like. You can reach to opposite legs if that's intriguing to you. Or you can just let yourself hang, have your forearms on the earth or your hands supporting you. And we'll try side two. Now, if you're outside and it's warm like me, please make sure you are breathing when you're upside down. We're going to take a breath. This time, the other arm's coming up. I'm going to be cautious that I'm not shifting in the direction with my hips, the direction that my arm is opening. That's what will happen naturally. So we need to be mindful, shift the weight back away, level the hips. Yep. Hand can be on the lower back if that's helpful. And we can just enjoy all that twist in action. We're giving some love to our spine here, opening up. And then we'll come down. Again, just release, take a breath. Let your head hang for a moment. You might roll your shoulders once or twice to come up, bend the legs. Hands are going to come towards the thighs. Take it slow, particularly if you're very warm or you have low blood pressure. You can bring your chin towards your chest. I am outside, so I need to take it slow. All right, and then we'll just heel toe the feet back together. And we're going to take one more posture. We're going to come into tree pose. So as we come up, we're going to lift the left foot up. For me, you pick one leg. We're going to find whatever is our balance. So once we wake up, sometimes we're feeling steady, sometimes we're not, and that's fine. So wherever you are, we're just rooting down through the foot. We're going to lift up. Arms can come out to the side or up overhead or any variation you'd like. We're cautious not to lock our standing leg. And we're also cautious not to put the foot right over the knee. So above it or below it, or even toes on the earth if we're feeling like that's the most grounding place for us this morning. And then to come out, we're going to bring the knee forward. We're just going to send the leg out. So wherever it is great. It can be low, it can be high. We're going to take a couple breaths. We're going to bring the body forward so that we're completely vertical, upright, not leaning back. I'll wave to you with my foot. Hello. And then we'll come down. And we'll try side two. Take a full breath. See if you were holding your breath during the balance. A lot of times when we're either trying to balance on the mat or if there's something stressful off the mat, we will begin to hold our breath. So we want to become aware of that during our practice here so that when we're off the mat, we can be aware if we're holding the breath or our breath becomes shallow, and we can return to the calming, deep breath that we know is always there. Your tree is having some breeze blowing around. That's no big deal. I think there's a hurricane coming, so, getting ready. Then we're going to bring the knee forward. We're going to send that leg out. We're going to reach up the arms. If, when you reach the arms up, you notice that you've leaned back a little bit, engage your belly and come forward. Yeah. Relax the shoulders. Lift that leg. Maybe you can wave your feet at me. And we'll come back down. Whew, awesome. So we're coming back to the floor. It's going to be a quicker practice. From here, actually I think I want to take a little bit of a camel, just a baby camel to wake up. Wake up the spine a little more. We're going to bring our knees to the earth. Go ahead and pat if you need, if it feels like the floor is too hard. We're going to take the arms up towards the sky. First version is we're just going to stay here, lifting the heart up. Has to be just a little teeny bit, not even a back bend, we're just lifting the heart up. And then as we lift the head vertical, the hands are going to come behind us. They're going to lodge here on our lower back. Fingers can point down, they can point to the side, whatever works for you. You're going to find that little ledge though as you slide your hands down. They're going to stop there. You're going to bring your elbows towards each other as much as you can. We're going to keep our thighs perpendicular to the floor. So they're going to try not to come too forward or too back. They're going to try to stay right there, perpendicular. And then what we're going to do is lift our chest up. Instead of thinking about bending backwards, we lift up. Back bends are energizing. So when you come out, take a moment, see how that feels. Feels good. And now we'll come into bridge, which is a passive back bend. Following that, we're going to let our body lay back on the floor. Let ourselves adjust to being now horizontal instead of vertical. And we'll press into the feet, lifting our hips up. The hands can either stay reaching towards the feet. You can interlace the hands and bring your upper arms a little closer together, pressing all of the arm into the floor to help lift the hips a little more. For some of you that might have more opening, might be able to lift up and have your hands come to your lower back. Again, just pick one that works for you. We want the effort to be in the thighs here, so we're not doing a high knee lift. It's engaged a little, but really the effort is in the thighs and the legs to help lift us. check in that we're not bringing our chin towards our chest. It should just stay in its neutral posture so there's still a curve in your neck. You're not flattening out the neck, okay? And we're not turning our head either. These are just some safety things. Don't turn your head when you're in this posture. Look up towards the sky. And to come out, we're going to lift the heels up. If your hands are interlaced, release them and slowly roll down. See if you can start from the upper part of the vertebrae near the neck and invite each vertebrae back down to the ground. And then don't rush. Take a few breaths here. Find the effects. Just open to all the sensation from that. We're going to walk our feet a little bit wider, and then we'll slowly let the knees release from side to side. And then we're going to hold the knees in. You can either rock yourself up or you can roll to the side and let yourself push up. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana. Letting our hips open a bit more, butterfly pose. From here, we'll lengthen the lower back. If you can tilt forward from the pelvis, you can bring your body forward. If your hips don't allow that, your body isn't made that way, you can stay upright. This might be a place where you want to sit on a pillow or a couple pillows to give your back that lift that it needs. I'm built such that I can sit on the floor without a pillow. Okay, from here, we're going to come a little bit forward. Some may come more. We're going to walk our hands over to, let me walk this side first so you can see. So what we're going to try to do is walk all the way in a diagonal between the knee and the foot, so far that the opposite hip is going to lift up just a little bit. And then we're going to purposely press into the earth, find that hip back down, and then stretch out from it. So just lengthening a little bit more through our lower back, the hip, we'll rise up, we'll come back to center, we'll walk over to the other side, stretch out, stretch so far out that that hip lifts, whoop, and then we're going to press it back down. Yep, and then engage, keep both sit bones on the earth while you stretch out. And then we'll inhale, we'll come back. We'll sit cross-legged for a moment. We're going to say hi to our wrists. So we're going to circle both ways. Make fist and just circle around. A lot of efforts going on. Typing, working, cooking, gardening, pretty much everything. We use our hands and our wrists. So take a minute and then stretch them the opposite way. So we're going to stretch them open. And if you can, if it's okay, we're going to bring the hands forward. So can you see this? We're going to bring the hands forward and then lift up just so we're stretching again through the creases. And then we're going to bring the backs of the hands to the earth gently and see how much stretch you can have here. I'll turn sideways so you can see in case you can't see. Yeah. And then a little bit of tension to the neck just before we take our final rest. We're going to take our left ear, or we'll take a ear, how about that, over to the side. With an exhale, chin comes towards the chest. We're going to roll it to the other side, release the jaw. Exhale back towards the chest. Breathe it to the other side. And release. To the other side. Exhale down towards the chest. And lift the head. There's a couple rounds of shoulder circles, just making sure nothing else needs to move around before we can rest for just a few breaths. We're going to take a quick Shavasana, and then we're going to stand up and do a couple breaths to get our energy moving for the day. But before we do, let's do lay on the floor for just a few moments to let our body relax. So I tend to lie with my knees bent because it's more supportive of my lower back. You feel free to stretch your legs out if you like. Let's take a collective breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then check in to see if there's any tension holding on the forehead. Letting the eyes rest, knowing that they'll be taking in lots of information today, so letting them rest, being thankful for them, grateful. Checking in with the jaw to be sure that there's no additional tension in the jaw. You might need to move it around a little if you're one that clenches their teeth when they sleep, such as myself. You definitely need to move your jaw around. You might stick your tongue out a few times. Make sure that the tongue can also just gently release so that it's resting on the back of the top teeth. And then with the next big breath in, as you exhale, let a feeling of relaxation just spill down your arms. The arms feel energized and relaxed, just resting on the earth. We take a breath in, and as we exhale, we soften all the muscles in the back and the abdomen. Take a breath in. As we exhale, we send again that feeling of relaxation down through the legs, all the way out through the soles of the feet. And we come back up towards the head, bringing our awareness of the area behind the neck. Noticing that we're not holding any tension. We notice that the sides of the neck are also relaxing. We'll focus for just a moment on the front of the throat. Seeing what sensation or image comes up for you, thinking about allowing that area to feel open, maybe light-filled. We want to be able to speak our truth, speak what needs to be heard. And also, as my students know, my fellow yogis know that I also work on swallowing what doesn't need to be heard. Just being aware of that today, so just bringing attention to that throat. Let it feel open and wise. And finally, coming back to some grounding points of the body, whatever's touching the earth that you can connect with. It might be the back of the head. It might be the arms, it might be across the lower back, maybe the heels or the soles of the feet. Just take a few breaths connecting with whatever's touching the earth right now. Let that center you as if there's an anchor down from those points. Slowly let your eyes blink open when you're ready. Be aware of the light coming back in, the colors you see around you. As the ears and the other senses awaken, we'll hear the sounds around us. We'll notice if there's any air moving around our skin, whether there's any taste in the mouth. You might hear the cicadas on my recording. And then let some movement come, just organically. Just notice what wants to wake up, what wants to stretch out again, find some movement. As you take the next few breaths, let it be bringing some energy to the body so that you know you have what you need to be able to face the day. You got this fully. To come up, we'll roll over to the side, let our arms press us up. So we're going to come all the way up to standing. So take a moment to rise. Just take 3 breaths. Again, just feeling centered, not needing to rush into your day. When you approach everything with a sense of mindfulness, believe it or not, it does feel like you have a bit more time. It's kind of magical. One more breath. Exhaling, aware, breathing down to the soles of the feet. And then we'll bring our awareness to a purposeful breath of bringing some energy into the body, just a little. It's going to be a ha breath. So we're going to reach up towards the sky as if we're reaching for the sun. We're going to reach up, maybe we'll come up onto our toes. And as we say ha, we're going to imagine that we're bringing that energy in towards our belly. We'll reach up. One more. All right, and then take a moment, hand over the heart, maybe over the belly. Filling ourselves with gratitude. There are still things to be grateful for. Certainly there is much that we are aware of that is painful right now in our society. We can hold that, and we can be grateful at the same time for that which is still good. Even more important to be aware of that these days. Friends, I'm grateful for you. Mwah. I hope you have a wonderful day.